I really do believe in the film festival circuit and also some of the award shows. So the 45th annual Telly Awards happened. And for those of you who don't know, Telly Awards it started in the 70s, and it was sort of like a answer to the regional Emmy Awards. So Telly Awards, let's say you did a documentary for PBS or you made a commercial campaign, and it was regional, but it was broadcast, like it was actually on TV. You could enter the Telly Awards. Well, as things modernized and things got on the web, the Tellys started adding this non-broadcast category, and it really did open up to a national award, and independent filmmakers could enter in a non-broadcast category. And so I think the Telly Awards is really important. The cool thing is people like you and me can enter the Tellys, but then you will constantly see HBO. It was funny, I got to go to the Shorty Awards, and ran into some people who were worked for Sesame Street, and they had won a few Telly Awards, so everyone from like PBS to HBO to CBS, they all enter the Telly. So it's kind of cool that we can enter too. And the highest award is the Gold Award. It's very hard to win. This is the first time I've ever won a Gold, and after entering the Tellys for many years. Anyway, American Expendables wins the top prize at the 45th annual Telly Awards for documentary film and long format. The good thing about the Tellys is that it's an award competition based on quality. So the judges are rating it for quality. So if you absolutely nail it, and you get a Gold, another person could also get a Gold in the same category. It's rare, but it can happen. So that's what's cool about the Tellys. It's not like the Academy Awards where, there's a handful of awards and that's it, and that's, no one else gets anything. The film itself actually has a pretty cool cast. It's got Lloyd Kaufman, and actually John Brennan from The Last Drive-In, which is cool, and also Debbie Rochon from the Troma movies, and Tim Coolidge, who's a producer-composer, and then James Richardson, also known from the VHS Massacre documentaries. As a matter of fact, I think he's a favorite of some of the people who like those documentaries. So the way the Tellys, you enter as a separate competition, but if I'm entering film festivals, I do that through Film Freeway, and this is my press kit. If you can see this, you upload the film with the poster, you have the trailer, then you have stills. This is an overview. You got your summary, director's biography, director's statement. But this doc has been performing pretty well in the film festival circuit. To be honest, I don't know why. I'm proud of it. But I think it's a cool subject matter. It's about the film catalog of North American pictures and some of the cool action stars like Cynthia Rothrock and Billy Blanks. So I think people do have an affection for the martial arts craze of the 80s and 90s and some of the sort of direct-to-video stars that came out of that, which is why it's called American Expendables. It's sort of like some of the martial arts stars that were excellent but weren't considered totally A-list, and maybe they've been a bit unappreciated, but this is a breakdown of some of the things I've entered and gotten into. The Telly Awards, Independent Horror Movie Awards, got a Best Editing Award there. Sci-Fi Horror and Action Film Festival, Tim Coolidge got Best Score. Weekend of Fear, that's great. That's going to be a premiere in Germany. That's a pretty big genre festival. Excited about that. City Paris, official selection there. Top Indie Awards, Best Music. You might be saying, how do I win film festivals? Well, you enter them. And with this one, I did not enter any of the corporate festivals. The ones that are considered top they're not really independent anymore. Though that's mostly the studios that want to have some kind of place some pedigree on their films. They'll put it in Sundance and Slam Dance. They'll put it in Tribeca or Cannes. You know, it's like I love Kevin Costner. He's got it looks like a really awesome Western called Horizon. You know, but movies like that, like a big expensive Kevin Costner Western, is premiering at Cannes. It's not really, you know, it's not really for us. You know, I tend to talk about filmmaking from a middle class perspective. Like, can you find a few friends, get together, maybe chip in a few grand and make a feature-length film? That's really where I come from, and that's what I try to teach as well, because I think it's important. And definitely going to sound like I'm bragging here, but just as an example to show that I put my money where my mouth is, the VHS Massacre documentaries didn't cost very much, you know, a couple $100 a piece. And the New York Times did an excellent review on both of them. I think it was last summer. And so, and they're very popular. They're streaming on most sites. So it's just an example of, like, if you really want to do this, you can absolutely do this. And there are still companies out there that will distribute your film. Now, are you going to make money? That's more difficult. A company like MVD will do direct revenue splits with you, which is really awesome. Other distribution companies, they tend to want to require a large amount of money to be recouped before they'll start getting you checks. And a lot of the times they kind of know how much they're going to make. They're going to ballpark it where, let's say the deal is, if they make 50 grand, they'll start paying you half of the money beyond that. You know, they'll rationalize that as marketing costs. Well, they kind of know most of their titles don't make over 50 grand, you know, so that number may be set and determined by how much they think they're going to make anyway. So it can get a little dirty, but if the distributor is just being honest with you, like, hey, we got to spend something on putting this thing out, so once we make over 25 grand, we'll split revenue, I don't have a problem with that. You kind of know what you're getting into. So you have to be prepared and understand that it's not a place to make a lot of money. But it's possible. People do break out, and some films are big hits. I think the first Terrifier had a reasonably small budget. I actually met the producer on that thing. And yeah, now I think there's at least a few sequels. So in any case, that's what I got going on. As more information comes out about different platforms that American Expendables will premiere on, I'll definitely let you know. Also, a few festivals were asking me about, am I doing a VHS Massacre 3? Answer is no, but I am working on something called Video Dreams, and that is about the origin of the middle class film movement, which I think is pretty much the VHS era. Because if you can sort of count Super 8, but it was such a tiny community and they weren't doing features that often. There's like The Dead Next Door, that's an 8mm feature, but it was very uncommon. So really it was like when camcorders, you know, it was more like when teenagers in the 90s started grabbing their parents' or grandparents' old VHS camcorders and editing onto VCRs, that there started to be this emergence of like feature-length middle-class independent filmmaking. And because just within a few years, as you started to get towards the mid to late 90s, you could build a computer and you could start to do nonlinear editing with an early version of Adobe Premiere. And so, you think of people like Robert Rodriguez, he shot on 16, transferred it to 3/4 tape and edited it as public access station. So not everyone has that, but you could shoot on VHS and edit on VCRs, and that the sort of evolution of that, how that came about, 16 is just, it's so expensive. We made a feature length, a 90-minute 16mm film called Everything Moves Alone. It was a comedic drama. We managed to get it done for $9,000, but that was really only possible because we didn't have any, we had a computer, but the hard drives were too small to transfer the whole film, so we actually had to transfer all the film stock onto 8 tape. The reason why we had to do that is that's the only deck we had. We had a camcorder. And so that's how we could capture the first third of the film, edit it, dump that onto a Beta SP Master, edit the second part, edit the third part. So we did it in a very unique way that made it possible to do it for $9,000. But not many people were doing what we were doing. Not many people were doing what Robert Rodriguez were doing. So, as you got towards the late 90s and 2000s, this became more common. You could buy larger hard drives and edit. But previous to that, people were hiring Avid editors, paying them $40,000, to edit their film. So it was really, it's an examination of just regular folks trying to be creative. So anyway, I'm about a half hour in on creating that doc. It's super rough. It's very personal, and I don't know how I'm going to market it. So we'll have to see, and I hope people can connect with it. But I'm having fun doing it. So anyway, that's all I have for now. If you're interested in any of my films, Exorcism of Fleet Marish is actually playing on Tubi, which I like. I think Tubi's really cool. You can watch that on Tubi. What else do I have? VHS Massacre 1 and 2. Those are like VHS Massacre 1's on Peacock TV, which is NBC Universal, which is really cool. And VHS Massacre 2, I think, is on Prime and Plex and Tubi and Apple TV and a bunch of other ones. So that's a lot of fun. So if you're into the VHS era, I think either of those, VHS Massacre 2, people like Part 2 a little better. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.